On tonight's edition of Newswatch 18, in honor of First Amendment Day, students took to the streets. Find out more coming up.
And Ames residents will be celebrating VEISHEA. See what will be happening.
The Iowa State Athletics Department announced some big news today. Find out what that news is coming up in sports.
And what does the weather look like for the start of VEISHEA next week? Stay tuned to find out that and more. This is Newswatch 18.
This is Newswatch 18.
Milwaukee.
Newswatch 18 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the April 12th edition of Newswatch 18. I'm Natalie Froisted.
And I'm Alyssa Weiss.
Students and faculty were found outside City Hall today celebrating First Amendment Day. Speeches were given by City Council member Jamie Larson and newly elected GSB President Jared Knight before the group began marching from City Hall through the Iowa State campus. Students bore signs and wore First Amendment Day apparel in support of the freedom of speech. First Amendment Day celebrations began 10 years ago at Iowa State and is organized by students and faculty within the Greenlee School of Journalism.
Celebrations continued and moved to Central Campus in the late morning and afternoon hours. Free lunch was provided to those that stopped by the soapboxes and speeches on Central Campus. Debates were held for a portion of the afternoon on topics such as religion and marijuana. Events continue tonight with Freedom Sings, featuring Grammy Award-winning musicians, including Joseph Wooten from the Steve Miller Band and Bill Lloyd until 9:30. At 10, some of those musicians will stop by the M Shop for a jam session.
Many students participate in the VEISHEA tournaments. Tournaments like basketball, soccer, and slow pitch softball happen annually, but this year a few new and interesting tournaments were added. We've all seen volleyball played on a court, and even in the sand, but this year the VEISHEA committee took it to the pool. The rules of indoor volleyball still apply, which makes the prospect of water volleyball a bit more difficult, but the ISUTV team managed to pull out a second-place win. Other new tournaments include Call of Duty, laser tag, and canoe races. Some tournaments have already finished, but there are still many more to participate in. Students can sign up on the VEISHEA website.
Undergraduate students will have a chance to show off their research projects Tuesday, April 17th at the 6th Annual Symposium on Undergraduate Research and Creative Expression. Projects on topics like retinal tumor cells in zebrafish will be displayed alongside works from the College of Design. Students from over 45 different majors will be presenting over 100 projects in the Memorial Union from 9 to 5 with presentation sessions throughout the day.
The Iowa legislature have not reached a compromise for the state budget, with the biggest dispute being the discussion of funding for region schools. However, their hopes for spending are much different. Republicans want to cut spending by $34 million, and Democrats want a $31 million increase. Governor Branstad would like spending to be closer to the Democrats' wishes. While still under discussion, the region school budgets continues to be the toughest decision point.
Governor Branstad visited campus Tuesday to promote lean beef products. Branstad has been campaigning to support the use of a beef product, also known as pink slime. He said that pink slime is a safe and low-fat product. He also said that it helps all parts of Iowa agriculture and that ISU agricultural students are the perfect group to counter the negative campaign. Opponents of pink slime say that the substance is a thinner of meat products and oppose the way the meat is treated for consumption.
So, Matt, what's going on in Cyclone sports?
Well, the Iowa State Athletics Department made a big announcement that involves Iowa's 4 major universities. I'll tell you what that announcement was coming up after the break. Welcome back to Newswatch 18. I'm Matt Van Winkle with sports. The Iowa State football team will hold its annual Cyclone Gridiron Club spring game on Saturday afternoon. The spring game is the finale to the Cyclone football team's spring practice schedule. Cyclone fans can watch the team play for the first time since last year's Pinstripe Bowl. The game starts at 2 p.m. and admission is free and the scrimmage is open to the public. Fans are asked to enter through Gate 1 on the north side of the stadium. The Iowa State volleyball team hit the floor earlier today for an exhibition match with Missouri. The Tigers and Cyclones met for the last time as Big 12 opponents, as Missouri will head to the SEC next season. Iowa State is 2-1 during the spring season with wins over North Dakota State and Illinois. Today's match was played in Centerville, Iowa. The Cyclones return home to Hilton on VEISHEA Saturday for their final home game, or their final spring game, as they host their former Big 12 foe, Nebraska. And ISU volleyball coach Chrissy Johnson-Lynch added some talent to next year's squad. Janelle Hudson, a talented setter from San Diego, will join the team for the 2012-2013 season. Hudson is a 5'10" high school All-American and will add to a depleted Iowa State team. The Cyclones lose 5 seniors from last year's team, but return seniors Rachel Hockaday, Allison Landwehr, and Jamie Straube. The NCAA has accepted Baylor's self-imposed penalties for the basketball program's major recruiting violations. An NCAA investigation found that both the Baylor men and women's basketball teams sent thousands of inappropriate calls and hundreds of text messages to recruits in addition to other violations. The Lady Bears will be put on 3 years probation with penalties including the loss of 2 scholarships for 2 current players. Baylor men's coach Scott Drew will be suspended for his team's first 2 Big 12 games next season. In addition, the men will cut 1 current scholarship as well as a scholarship in the 2012 recruiting class. These sanctions come after the Lady Bears won the national championship and the men reached the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament this year. And Iowa State basketball fans, listen up. Next year's Wells Fargo Arena will play host to the inaugural Big 4 Classic on December 15th. The event will host Iowa's 4 major university basketball teams, with Iowa State playing Drake and the University of Iowa against UNI. The Cyclones and Hawkeyes will still play next year in Iowa City, but not at the Big 4 Classic. Tickets go on sale to the public in October. And that's all I've got for sports. Now, Sam, we saw some rain out there later today. Are we going to see any of that in our forecast?
Matt, you're going to see more rain and possibly some severe storms roll through Iowa into this weekend. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to the weather, and especially this next segment. This is Newswatch 18. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is meteorologist Sam Shire. I've got quite the forecast to talk to you guys about. Now, this is our weather story for Iowa and more. We've got showers and isolated thunderstorms popping up all across the area, and those will be pushing out east, and then we'll have more showers and possible thunderstorms continuing into this weekend. So my next graphic is going to especially show the current temps. This was taken at about 7 o'clock, so we have fallen a little bit more than what these shows. But you got about 60, 61 just north of Des Moines, 62 in Des Moines. Ames was about 60. Now we're about 58 or 57 right now and constantly falling. But overall, not too horribly chilly out, and the winds have died down a little bit, making it much nicer outside. Now our next graphic is going to go ahead and show us the 3-day outlook. Now when I woke up this morning, this is something that meteorologists love to see. A day 3 with a moderate outlook. Now this is extremely interesting too. 45% hatch, which means a 20% more chance are likely to see a tornado or at least a very severe storm in this area alone. And all it extends up into Iowa. Now this is a 3-day, so that means Saturday. And conditions are so great, especially all through that area. We're not exactly sure where they could fire. We just know there could be severe storms all up to this area. Now this is Friday's image, and we're going to have a slight heading into Iowa, so we could see continued storms into tomorrow, possibly some severe ones around Des Moines, Ames even, definitely some pop-up thunderstorms and some rain into this week, and that's going to keep going all through the week. Now my next image is going to show radar, I believe. Yes, here it is. Now this is the area just north of Ames right here. Storm Lake 4 Dodger receiving a little bit more heavy areas of rain, and that's pushing through the week. Across the state, heading east, just south of Des Moines, Osceola, Lamoni. They're also experiencing a little bit heavier rain. Your pop-up thunderstorms are going to be up here around Storm Lake, but they are going to be very small, and that's just going to continue pushing east. Now, my next graphic is going to be our extended outlook for the rest of the week. Now, as you guys can take a look, all into Monday and stopping Monday night, chances of rain and more as we head into there, with our temps sticking around 67 on Friday, Saturday 72 degrees with T-storms likely, as it says, all through that week. Sunday night again is even looking just more interesting than it was right before. So like I keep saying, those rains is going to stick around, and thunderstorms possibly into this weekend, into Monday. A very interesting week ahead.
Great, thanks Sam. And defying warnings from the international community, North Korea launched a long-range rocket it says was carrying a satellite into orbit. U.S. officials confirmed the launch earlier today. However, the rocket did not make it far. Japanese Defense Minister Naoki Tanaka told reporters that the rocket fell into the sea about a minute after launch. The UN will be meeting Friday to discuss its response to the launch.
VEISHEA week is coming up faster than you think. Barbecue buttons are still available until Monday. $5 for lunch every day next week. The opening ceremonies will be held in the sunroom of the MU on Tuesday to start things off. Cyclone Idol finals are Wednesday night in the Great Hall, and there will be a hypnotist Thursday night. You'll have 2 shows. Friday and Saturday night, there will be the much-expected Live at VEISHEA concerts. Earlier on Saturday, the VEISHEA Village and Ames neighborhood will populate Central Campus with tons of fun for people of all ages. Tons of colorful floats will march down the street when the VEISHEA parade begins Saturday morning. And then to wrap up the festivities on Sunday afternoon, the closing ceremonies will be held, ending yet another amazing VEISHEA. Make sure to watch out for the ISU TV news team as we will be covering most of the events next week.
You know, those storms heading into this weekend, something I want everybody to keep an eye out, especially Saturday. But more interesting was these new model runs we just got in showed Sunday being an even more likely event for severe thunderstorms again, and possibly tornadoes into Iowa. But like I said, such a severe risk everywhere.
Well, I'm hoping those don't have a big impact on Saturday's spring game for Iowa State. So.
I hope not.
Agreed.
All right, and that's all we have for this edition of Newswatch 18.
Make sure you tune in next week for our extensive VEISHEA coverage on top of more news, weather, and sports. Have a good evening.